Welcome everyone to another episode of Elbows Tight Podcast. It's your host Travis and John. John, how you doing today?
Fantastic. How you doing?
Fantastic. Cannot complain. Sipping on some whiskey. Very special episode we got today. Got our friend, our compadre, brand new CrossFit athlete, soon to be jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Oh yeah, sign me up. Sign me up.
We already did. You just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
But we got our buddy Spencer here. But before we get into introducing Spencer, John, you know the deal. What's the beverage of the day?
All right, so we're trying something new. We got Stillhouse, America's Finest. It's a black bourbon. I've never had it before, but I'm gonna read the caption real quick. It says it's a masterful blend of corn, rye, barley, and limestone water. Barreled and charred new American oak, charcoal filtered, rested, and mellowed in a roasted small batch coffee beans. So far, I think it's pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's really smooth, actually. I was totally expecting like one of those harsh, like bourbon whiskey kind of burns in the chest, but it goes down very smooth.
Yeah, pretty mellow.
Yeah. Especially when it's getting watered down a little bit with this ice in it. But yeah, it's good.
By the time you get to the second glass, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to start pounding
Are
it.
you on the second class?
Yeah, that's the second. Yeah.
Spencer, what do you think about the...
I like it. It's warm, man. It's good.
Yeah, it is warm. What's the alcohol content?
40.
80 proof?
40%.
Yeah, I think we'll throw a picture up too of the bottle. That's unique. I've not seen any bottles like that.
It looks like a expensive
Large.
olive oil
Yeah,
container.
yeah, like a large flask.
Yep.
Yeah, like
feel
a large...
You feel like you're drinking out of a flask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is nice. You should probably keep this container.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe you
pretty
should
cool
put like something here we can mount them.
Yeah, make me look like we're in a frat house.
Yeah,
It feels like something you'd see in a barbershop.
Yeah, that's a good one.
On
Yeah.
the shelf or something.
You can put that over
That was a wine and more fine.
Wine and more? How much was it? $35
It
plus
was- so-
$16 in tax?
Oh, you just this state is something else. So it was $39 and after tax. I believe it was 52 and some change.
Isn't that crazy?
I was like, you've got to be. If anyone's
the-
never heard of sin tax,
Yeah,
you
it's
just
the
look it
liquor
up. It's
tax,
very
right?
interesting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Seattle has that sugary beverage tax, too. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah,
It's
if
like
you get a large soda, you get taxed more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
have
buy
that in
anything
California.
with like a certain sugar content in it, I think it is.
Yep.
It's like
New York started that, and of course, lots of other states have picked it
yeah.
up.
So for like a 99-cent Arizona sweet tea, it's 99 cents plus the 7% tax plus 9/10 of a cent tax on top of that as well.
That's why I love the name sin tax. I'm like, really? Like, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, "You're gonna stop me from drinking soda? I love my sodas. I want my Coke."
I haven't had soda in years.
You're crazy.
Probably like 15.
It is delicious.
Easily 15 years.
Get out of here! I saw you drinking a Pepsi at work the other
Never.
day.
You've never seen me drink a Pepsi.
I totally saw you drinking a nice sugary Pepsi.
No, you did not. He's such a liar.
Yes,
Deny the man.
then you were eating your hot Cheetos or your Ritz crackers with beef jerky
No, you probably saw me drinking a Stokes coffee.
that is as much sugar
That's
as
not
a
a soda. We're talking about soda. Don't listen to him.
Technicalities.
So yeah, that's the beverage of the day. It's pretty good. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it, John?
I give it a good 6.
6?
Six
That's
and a half.
It's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. Same.
Spencer,
Same.
6,
Yep.
6. Yeah, I say 5, 6. It's not bad. I'm like I said, I'm not a whiskey guy. If this was like
If
a
this was
tequila,
like Jack Daniels, I'd probably give it about a 1.5, just so people can understand what we're talking about here.
that's true. That's a good comparison, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if a Jack Daniels would be like a -4 for me.
If someone offered me a bottle of Jack Daniels or Evan Williams or something like that, I'd probably use it to start a fire. Just for
my own house.
I've had lots of bourbon and whiskey in my lifetime, and that stuff I'm not even touching.
Oh man, that stuff is disgusting. It's like I bought the Rocks. Dwayne Johnson has a tequila, and I bought L'Oreal bought me a bottle of that. Let me correct that. L'Oreal bought me a bottle of his tequila. It wasn't bad. I tried sipping on it. It's not really a sipping tequila. Let me tell you, like it's not bad, but it has a really peppery aftertaste and really strong like aftertones. But then I put a little bit of orange juice in it, and then it was like really good.
Well, when you
It's
have
really
to
good.
mix anything, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
weren't sipping that though.
I tried sipping it.
Yeah, we tried, but then we.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it was like, and now we got the tequila, the Costco tequila.
Already?
Yeah.
Here we go.
in the refrigerator. We tried making margaritas with that, the paleo margaritas that we did in Billy
sport guy.
Adams episode. If you haven't listened to that one yet, episode, I think it's like 4.
Yeah, the great one. One of my favorites.
Billy Adams, yeah, he's fantastic. We should probably have him on again, dude.
We should. Cody, too. We should have
Yeah,
Cody on.
yeah. I think this is episode 24. Isn't that crazy?
Is it?
Do like a panel podcast. Whole bunch of people at once, kind of get like all your instructors or something, do a panel of it.
Yeah, and then just have like a singular microphone or a couple microphones so everyone could just
fight
talk.
over it.
Yeah, huh?
Fight over it.
Yeah. Give me the microphone. Well, you can have like boom mics and stuff like that, but I mean, we've been talking pretty good now. So Spencer, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. So let's see. I just moved in next door to Travis about let's see. Gosh, it was back in December.
I wasn't moved in yet. He moved
No.
in first.
Yeah. And so exactly. You moved in next to me. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Moved up to Washington about a year back, new to the area. Worked for Tesla. Been working for them for about 5 years now. Been at Google X before that, Army before that. New to CrossFit, like you were saying.
Yeah, got him addicted.
Yeah, I really am. I was like,
Isn't it great?
It's a lot of it's honestly the most satisfying thing I've actually like workout wise had in a long time. Something to push you that hard.
Do you think it's satisfying because you don't have to think at all? You just have to show up and do whatever they programmed?
100%. Yeah. You show up, you bust your ass, and you leave or you work out after, like up to you, but just put out. It's nice. It's refreshing. Yeah. So addicted to that's for sure. And then you trying to drag me into jiu-jitsu.
Well, so I think you'll like it.
Yeah. Well, so just so we clarify, in the Army, you did do some grappling.
I mean,
so you in
what did they call it? They have a different name for it though in the military. Like
it was back in 2009, so I can't even remember. It was something like it was in the very beginning of like they have 2 phases of what they call OSUT. So they have like the first, which is just your basic combat training, then your advanced individual training for your job. They covered grappling and groundwork in basic. Not even they did some. They did more work in advanced individual training. But
so, out of curiosity, when they teach it, do they teach it as far as groundwork to get to your firearm or to get away? They wouldn't teach it as far as subduing, right? Or they just teach it as like, do this, break away, get your firearm? I was always curious.
Yeah, that's actually, I never even thought about it even when I was doing it. But yeah, like it wasn't ever subduing. It was exactly what you said. Like basically either defend yourself, like worst case scenario, or, break away to get your firearm. Some submissions and chokes, but that wasn't the focus at all. It was like an into a means kind of thing.
Yeah, I find that curious because I follow another podcast, and it's a Navy SEAL that runs that one. And he was talking about jiu-jitsu, and he was like, no, when I was a Navy SEAL, it was how quickly can you shoot them?
Yes.
Like everything was your firearm.
Yeah.
It was not ever, subduing or using your hands. It was all about your equipment. So when he got into it, it was like a totally different ball game. Like he was like, no, they did not teach it like that.
That's so funny.
And he's like, and I'm a Navy SEAL, right? And he's like, I go to my first class, and I think he said his first role was against a brown belt female, and she wore him out. Like he couldn't do anything. And he's like, I'm a Navy SEAL. This ain't supposed to be happening.
Is that Jocko?
No, that's on the Cleared Hot podcast.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, man, that's a good point. I never thought about that. That's why I was curious.
If you're in the military and you're in the ground, like you're in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
Like you're in a bad place. Like that. You probably got other things to worry about.
Right. That's like I think Billy talks about it. He's like if I'm on the ground using my grappling on someone in real life, he's like stuff has gone seriously wrong.
Everything's failed.
So everything's failed. And I was like in my head I was thinking I would rather grapple someone first than shoot them. But then I was like, well, it's really dependent on the situation.
Close. You don't want that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like I would like to protect life as long as possible. So if I could just like choke someone out real quick instead of shooting them, I would rather do that. But then I was like, no, because if I have a gun on me, they could grab that gun just as easily as I could. So I might have to just shoot someone.
Or stab you or whatever.
You show up to a gunfight, you're like, can we drop our guns for a second, try grappling? And then if that doesn't work, we can.
How about we put back to back, take 10 paces, and then.
I've read stuff about that, like high level practitioners in jiu-jitsu that have been doing it for a long time. This guy in particular, he had a lot of confidence, We watched one, Road Rage, where the black belt,
Yep.
famous guy, competition, everything. He got into a road rage incident and he got shot in the head. Like, and he was provoking it. Like, he was pushing it and pushing it, and the guy shot him in the head. The other guy I know, he decided to walk through the bad parts of the neighborhood. You know, he was confident, and he ended up getting stabbed. And to him, that was the eye opener. Like, okay, yeah, like, you know, even though you know this and you're proficient, you know, that the most important thing you can do is never put yourself in the bad situation to begin with.
Yep.
You know, and I was like,
That's
yeah,
what the Gracies talk about too, right? Is like that's their first line of defense. Is like, just don't put yourself in the situation. They're like, don't be the tough guy. Don't think you can fight everyone. Like, be smart. Know that you aren't going to win every fight, and people out there are probably going to beat you up. Like, and just don't put yourself in those situations.
Go to Seattle. Be back home by 6 o'clock.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
Bed by 9.
Bed by
For sure. Nothing. You know, anything after that's bad stuff.
Yeah, right. That's when all the crazies come out, man. Let me tell you. I remember not wanting to go to Seattle before this, all this stuff, and now I'm like, I was like, if I couldn't imagine, because I used to work in Seattle, right?
Yeah,
I would have to
you did,
commute every day to Seattle. Like, I couldn't imagine like having to commute to work right now. How crazy it would be.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting stopped by civilians like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd respond to that.
They're like, get your hands on me, bro. You just the same level. Like,
I'd be like, yeah, I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting.
I kind of want to go check out Seattle though, just to like see it.
Can you wear your GoPro for me? Because I'm gonna watch it from home.
Yeah, and actually stream it live.
There's the next episode of the podcast right there.
Yeah, right. We're sitting in the like autonomous zone. What was it called?
The Chaz. The Chaz.
Capitol Hill autonomous zone. And we're sitting there like, so we're sitting here in Chaz. Like, but
I'm not gonna lie, my lifestyle, like you say, like it's hard to picture yourself commuting for those reasons. I'm like, I've been working from home for a year. Like, it's just hard for myself to picture myself commuting.
Yeah.
Period.
He's like, God, I have to go to Target today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, man, so that's 20 minutes. Like, I mean, because you have to like, where I'm from in California, it's just like Seattle. If you're working there, where it's like you'll spend an hour and a half a day commuting. Not very, like it kind of eats at your soul a little bit. Like you're not a happy person. Like you're pretty grumpy dude.
my bad.
So my commute used to be, when I first moved here, 6 hours a day. So I had to meet at the Target in Silverdale at about 3 a.m, and we'd go to Whidbey Island. So I'd have to go to Port Townsend in a van pool, and then we'd have to wait for a ferry, and then ride the ferry across, then drive to work.
That's hard for me to imagine.
Yeah,
I've never heard 6 hours.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I mean. During the summertime, my commute a day was like 4 to 5 hours a day.
That's nuts.
But what makes his commute to Whidbey Island even crazier?
The ferry? Or no, you're talking about the bridge?
No, the guy you used to ride with.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I guess we can. So,
We don't gotta talk about it.
interestingly enough, so the van pool I rode, it was all military, right? You know, I was still in the Navy, and we had a variety of people on this van, and we had one guy that was a Navy career counselor, first class, and I didn't think anything of it, but he'd always talk about, like, he'd be angry, he'd talk about his wife, and he'd always talk about what he was going to do and how angry he was, and, you know, I'd even drop this guy off sometimes at his house, you know. One day, me and Katie are sitting in the living room, and I'm watching the news, and his face pops up, like, like the most wanted. And I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
So this guy ended up killing his wife, killing the kids. He took the Bainbridge Island ferry and actually got stopped by the police. This is after he murdered him, so he's kind of acting a little sketchy. And they let him go. So he was a little drunk, but they let him go. And his guns were in the trunk of his car. They never got that far. But he was on the lam for probably 3-4 months, and they caught him in New Mexico where he got stabbed at like a university party of some sort.
He got really far. Jeez.
Yeah. And it was, like I said, a couple months, but he was a career counselor, man, like in the Navy. And like I'd be asleep on this van next to this guy. Like, you know, you just never know.
Right.
And I was like, oh.
That's it. Wow.
Anyway, way to bring that up.
Yeah,
Frank.
I was like, this is a good story there. You got kind of dark there for a second. I was like, maybe we should talk about this on podcast.
Well, it used to be interesting because, you
Reverse.
know, the guy had his guns and all that, and, you know, you get on the gun control debate and everything like that. And I think the problem with a lot of the gun laws, and this is my personal opinion, is you can't predict when somebody's going to go crazy.
Yeah.
So you can pass everything in the book, you can do whatever you want, but you never know when someone's going to snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true. But on a different note, I was just smelling my fingers, and it smells like the barbecue ribs that we just had.
I'm so glad you said that.
Is that because you're talking about because of the ribs, not because of the whiskey bourbon, right?
Yeah, no, because I was just scratching my nose because my nose itched. I was like, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh, those are ribs that I just cooked." I just smoked a bunch of ribs before everyone came over.
They were delicious.
I really hope there's some left.
I do too.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. If you guys want my recipe, so what I do is I put stuff on ribs and then put them in the grill for a certain amount of time, and then I take them off and we eat them. They're fantastic.
But we should tell people we prefer the smokers, the pellet smokers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I do use a pellet smoker. So temperature wise, what I did is we smoked them at 150 for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I kicked it up to 185 for maybe 45 minutes, and I just gradually increased it up to 225 for about 45 minutes. And then I cooked them meat side down, like I said, for that 45 minutes. And then I flipped them over, kicked them up to 325 to kind of get that nice little sear on them because I do a brown sugar dry rub. And then took them off and let them dry. And there's like a good quarter-inch.
Oh, yeah, good smoke ring. They're fantastic.
Good smoke ring on them. It's so good. Lordell helped me out with them, too. She's the one that threw them on the grill.
I had the same grill for years. Not, the same maker as you, but mine finally kicked the bucket. So I spent like $400 and got a much larger wood chip kind of smoker. And so far, I got to say, I absolutely hate it. So that thing's going bye-bye. And
I thought you loved it, bro.
No, bro. I've tried it like 3 times now. I cannot master this whole wood chip part of it. So that thing's going to go bye-bye, and then I'm going to go pick up another pellet one.
I'll take it.
Yeah, well, you can buy it for sure.
No, I'll take yours.
No, yeah, it's absolutely for sale.
Yeah, I'll that's what I'm telling you. I'll take it.
Well, go ahead and pay the money. It's yours.
Tell me how much. That's what I'm saying.
For you, Travis, $200.
Deal.
Done.
There Deal. You go. No problem.
You heard it first.
Give me 100% discount though on that, and I'll see. No, so it's like barbecue season right now. So whenever I can barbecue, I try to barbecue as much as possible.
You're barbecuing all the time,
dude. I freaking love it. I love that smoker. I'm telling you,
I'm not hating.
Yeah. I'm like, that's why you got to get one.
I know.
If you guys are listening to this and you don't own a pellet grill, you should probably look into one. I'm not even
Target sells them now,
like,
and it looks legit.
They are so good. Like my Green Mountain, it's paid for itself tenfold with how much food I've cooked on it. I literally use that thing like once or twice a week and just meal prep on Sundays or during the week and cook as much as I possibly can on it. It is amazing. If you guys were contemplating about it, do it. But what I was going to say is I was at Sportsman's Warehouse today, and I saw your grill, the blue one that you have, except for it's red.
The that cheap one?
Yeah, I saw $65 at
way.
Sportsman's.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, look, that thing is not worth $65.
I think my mom paid like $20 for that thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check out because I want a charcoal grill.
He's talking about the one I cooked the tri-tip on.
Yes.
Yeah.
$65.
I was like,
for that sweet
it's
little
literally
number?
the same exact grill except for red.
Oh yeah, that's I'll be honest with you. If you're gonna do a charcoal grill, the best one you can get is the Weber kettle grill.
Yeah,
hands down. It's just that round. It's like a tall round Weber grill.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It is hands down the best charcoal grill you can buy.
Yeah, I want to get a nice charcoal grill because the one thing that I don't like about the Green Mountain is you can't sear. Like it doesn't get hot. Like it doesn't have the direct heat. It's all like.
Well, I think you can now. Me and you had older models. The newer models, they do those sear plates and things like that. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can definitely do it on the newer models.
Oh man, maybe I should do that because. Well, I mean, do that.
But you know what? Honestly, cooking on charcoal is a lot of fun. So just get a charcoal grill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just want to get a little cheap charcoal grill.
Yeah.
I used to have a Weber that get this right. So I got a picture of it somewhere. But so I wanted to cook a beer can chicken on it. I did a mustard rub on it with like a bunch of herbs and spices all over the outside of it, and then I put it on my charcoal grill, my Weber with a Budweiser can in it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Delicious. Have you ever had beer can chicken?
Nope.
Oh
What?
my gosh.
You're old enough to have had that.
I lived in California before this.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, beer can chicken is fantastic.
We had soy latte chicken there.
Oh my! We had vegan chicken. It was delicious.
Avocado chicken.
But so then I was like, I put the lid on, and I didn't realize that my Weber was too small. So there was probably about a good 2-3 inch gap around the whole way. So I was like, well, I'll just wrap it in aluminum foil and then keep the heat on the inside. What a bad idea that was. because I ended up wrapping it, and I wrapped like the handles and everything like that, and all the heat just melted every bit of plastic off of my grill, and then it burnt the crap out of my chicken because it got so hot on the inside. I was like, well, never doing that one again.
That's how I learned how to grill, dude. As I learned even how to smoke. I ordered a custom-made Smokinator from Texas for Weber charcoal grills, and it goes in the bottom with a water tray. You feed the charcoal in it.
Yeah.
It would take me hours to do it like that. You know, nothing like the pellet grills, but that's how I learned how to really smoke was on a charcoal grill.
I want to do like Smokey Robinson's has their, like, they throw the little logs of wood in there.
That's amazing.
That's how I drove past them today coming home from work. And the guy standing out there, and he opens up the grill, and there's a billow of smoke just like comes out of this barbecue. And I was like, oh my God, let me just come over there and hang out with you, please.
If you want to do that, you can ask Katie. And I thought I showed you pictures, but I built my own.
Yeah, you were talking about your 55-gallon drum.
Yeah, it was like $20 for a food grade 55-gallon drum, and I used a wheel cutter, you know, and I cut the thing, put my own handles on it, put my own shelves in there, so you can do the whole project yourself for $50. Save yourself a lot of money, and they're huge. Like I told you, it doesn't matter what the grill is. Once you learn how to cook, as long as you know how to manage heat, you're good to go.
Yep. Spencer, you got to step your game up, man. You got to get that man card.
I'm looking at my porch right now, and I'm like, I should get a grill on there.
You should, man.
It's just I should probably get a wraparound porch first, because that freaking swing is taking up a lot of space.
You got that massive grill porch outside your master bedroom.
Yep.
I think it's huge. It's like as big as this table.
It's like 4x4. Yeah,
that'll fit one though.
I think it'll fit one, but it's the most pointless porch I've ever seen in my life.
On Mike's podcast, his wife had cooked ribeye or something. Oh my God!
So I didn't want to ruin it for you, but apparently, because we're going camping with them next weekend, and they're doing the same thing for our Father's Day meal.
Why am I not invited?
Because you don't have a camper.
I can sleep in the Saab's back seat. I just want the steak.
So she grew up on a farm, beef and everything.
So good, man.
So she's real picky about the meat. So they brought it over. It was so good. I don't even know how she cooked. I can't cook it like that. I don't know how she did it.
You could literally cut it with a butter knife, like it was like a fork. I take that back. We were cutting it with a fork to eat it. It was so
good,
bro.
It was amazing.
And delicious. My ribs had like a hardcore smoke ring. Like it had a pretty.
The whole thing was pink.
Yeah, I was about to say it was like the smoke on it was amazing. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, what I do is I just marinate it for a couple hours and then throw it on the grill." I was like, "There's no way." Those tri-tips we did for the baby reveal though. Those tri-tips were
on our $20 charcoal grill.
Yeah, man, those tri-tips. I was like, man, I got to start doing some tri-tip again.
That was a great fun weekend.
Yeah, what'd you say?
That was a good marinade you put on.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I want to do beef jerky on the Green Mountain this summer too. So I got some beef. That's the beef jerky trays that I bought today. Yep. But apparently you got to do like eye of round steaks or something like that. So
for our jits, I heard people don't like it when you call it jits. So now I'm gonna call it that every chance I get.
So we've been doing a lot of jits lately.
I'm gonna be so tempted.
Yeah. It's just say jits. It drives people nuts.
Yeah.
So
my first jits.
Oh my!
When are you gonna do it?
We need to break this open. Yeah.
I've only got another week that I can do it.
Oh really?
Yeah. Then I'm gone to San Diego. So.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And then John and I will be doing this podcast over the phone.
That'd be interesting.
I got to warn you. So they got a new guy that joined last week. He's probably never going to listen to this, but he might eventually. This guy looked like he could have been wearing a Nebraska lineman jersey, like corn-fed. And he showed up in gi bottoms and a rash guard. And I was like, oh, shit, he knows what he's doing. And I watched him and Cody roll, and I was like, this ought to be fun because he's, pretty much, he's actually thicker than Cody. Cody's a little bit taller.
Man's thicker than a Snicker, I'll tell you that.
But I was like, this is probably the closest thing I've seen to Cody's size and would probably match him in strength, just the way the guy looked.
Right.
So I watched the whole round, but I think Cody was actually taking it a little easy on him, because it was the first time back in a while. Yep. So if you roll up against that guy, good luck.
Great. Fantastic. Great. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, no,
Not
but
only am I sore right now, but I'll be hurting. Actually,
totally different level of soreness.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you think you're in like physical good shape until you fight for your life for 5 minutes.
for sure.
yeah.
And then it's a completely different world. That's what I was telling that guy's brother. I was talking to his brother. He's like, "Do you think jiu-jitsu's worth it?" I was like, "Do I think jiu-jitsu's worth it?" I was like, "Let me tell you, I think back when we first started, I thought I was in some pretty good shape, right?" And I was like, I'm telling him, the first time I rolled in jiu-jitsu, I thought I was legitimately going to die.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought to myself, if I get in a street fight right now with someone that has just a little bit of training, I'm literally going to die in the streets. Like, there's no way I'm going to stop someone that has just even like a little bit of training makes a huge difference, man.
The stuff you learn in the first month. If I'd have met them, I'd have been toast.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's so crazy. So once you start, you'll realize, right? People just like if you roll with me or John, we'll probably not toy with you, but we'll just let you work.
We'll let you work.
You don't have to sugarcoat it. You can screw with me.
Yeah. But it's well, you're Spencer's like what, 6'2"? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6'2", 240 pounds of pure muscle. Ooh. You know, it's like
pump those numbers.
I'm like 5'6", 170 pounds.
A lot of it's fat. I don't know about 70 right now. Right, you know what I'm saying?
Probably about 185 now. It's COVID messed everyone up.
Right. I'm 5'8", 6 foot on Tinder, but I'm like 215. Yo, I watched the video of Jordan and I in class. Dude, I was like, I look like I weigh 300 pounds in my gi in that video.
Yeah,
bro.
even in jeans. Like, it's not just a gi. Like, you know.
About to go in that sumo class.
That's not very nice, man. John be talking all this trash until we get on the mat, and then he don't look at me.
Well, you know, Travis is a good, 30 years younger than I am, so that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
ain't that old.
No, but I wonder like how everyone's jiu-jitsu is going. I just joined like this 40 over club.
Is there any more ice?
One little guy.
Yeah, I didn't bring my phone, or else I'd have Drew go fill it up.
The window's open.
Is she outside?
Yeah, they're all right down on the porch.
Drew. I can't see. Is she back there?
Oh. Katie.
But they've had a poll of everyone that's been going back to class and if their stuff's open or not, and a lot of schools are not open right now.
Really?
Yeah,
I think it's just because we're, bro.
You're gonna need ice.
I have to work tomorrow.
But
pouring it like it's water.
I wonder how everyone's doing with it because I feel pretty rusty. We've been back for probably about 2.5 weeks at this point, and I feel like I'm out of sync.
Thank you.
Like just rolling with even like everyone in the class. I'm not really trying to submit anyone.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a little bit off keel.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I did that class yesterday, and we're just doing, just movements, moving around.
Yeah, single legs.
Yeah, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Professor was like, all right, so we're going to do a shrimp, or a reverse shrimp, and then Baron-Bolo rolled over, right? And I was like,
Dude, no kidding. Mike showed up the other day for the first time, and he forgot.
Thank you, Katie.
Sorry about this, Mike. Mike forgot how to shrimp.
I forgot how to shrimp, dude. I had to figure it out.
I was like,
again.
remember, it's like you're pushing off the leg.
Yeah, I have to do the pushing movement in order to remember it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're coming at a good time because there's gonna be like a lot of people are restarting anyways.
I'm pretty sure that's like the first thing we learned at like when we were talking about what we covered in basic for jiu-jitsu was shrimping because we shrimped for hours.
No way.
Bro, not all the ice, dude.
Because it was just because like they wanted to, like it was just conditioning, like they just wanted to make life miserable. So you would just be on the mat shrimping for like a really ridiculously long time.
You're like, I hate my life.
You did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this like radiates into the microphone, right? Our listeners are gonna be like, these guys must be drunk already. They're dropping a bunch of ice.
Well, I'm not gonna.
You guys don't sound like that, by the way.
I was starting to pour this, not thinking what it was.
Because it's delicious.
It is delicious. But I had to stop. I was like, this is not water. This is not aminos. This is bourbon.
This is
you're
tequila. No, this is our.
What'd you say before the podcast? Catila?
Tequila.
Something like that?
Tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I might be a little intoxicated. I can't be getting drunk tonight, man.
The way you said that even was like slightly
Intoxicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm enjoying being back. Like it's great. I started going back to CrossFit more too because I wanted to lose this weight that I gained over this quarantine, which is crazy too.
Was it like ripping your pants at work that made you want to get back into working out, or I mean, what was the trigger?
Such a dick.
What was the trigger?
Oh, did we not talk about that earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No,
My
what
bad.
was the trigger? First of all, those jeans were like 6 years old. First of all. And
I just want you to know at the baby reveal, I had a couple people mention to me, they were like, was Travis wearing Lordell's pants?
yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, no one wants to say nothing to my face until I look at the photos on Facebook and I'm like, bro, I'm that fat dude in skinny jeans. Like those fit me at one point. No, but it
I
was
just
like
thought that's how you wore jeans.
yeah,
bro.
I did too. I was
No.
like, well, millennials, whatever. I don't care.
No, I was like, these jeans usually fit. I was like, but no. So what? Because I mean, it's not like we weren't active during quarantine. We rolled, we worked out.
Yeah.
I didn't eat garbage, and I still gained like 10, 15 pounds. I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
It's
right
the
now.
calories, bro. I told you when I wore that whoop, I'd wear it in CrossFit and we'd burn like 400 calories. And then I'd go roll it in jiu-jitsu and I'd wear it and we'd burn like 900 and some change.
Yeah. So I was like, I just got to get back into the gym and whatnot. I feel immensely better. I'm sleeping better, whatnot. And that's this whole quarantine made me think about like, man, I really got to get a home gym. And luckily, Spencer's across the street, so we all can work out. And then you live right down the street, so we can roll and work out and whatnot. But I was like, once the gym started opening back up, I was like, yep, this definitely has to happen. So
Agreed. It feels great to get back in and like burn those calories, and
Yeah.
it's much easier to sleep when you're like spent.
exhausted.
Yeah.
When you've started getting back into CrossFit, like in the last couple weeks or so, was that real like a huge change of pace from when because you were training before COVID pretty hard? I'm assuming CrossFit.
Yeah.
I didn't know you then though.
Yeah. I mean, I go a lot slower now. But once again, it's more like we went on a mile run yesterday for the workout, and what hurt wasn't the run. It was like my quads started locking up and my back was locking up because we had did just light deadlifts. But it's like just using the muscles again just got them super tired and exhausted. And I went running, and I was like, oof. That was definitely a 10-minute mile. Let me tell you, I felt every minute of that 10-minute mile. It was usually I can run a mile in like back in my prime 92. You know what I'm saying? Back in NAM.
That's like when me and you went running in Silverdale.
Yeah.
Like we could have ran all day. I don't think we were getting tired.
Exactly. Now we go do that, and I'm like, I'm running around the
Yeah.
block. I'm like, I'm good. It's just kind of like that thing. Like, yeah, but before all the quarantine stuff, John and I trained pretty hard, pretty regularly. We also like trained with each other on the weekends outside of class and whatnot too. So, but in Japan, when we were bachelors in Japan, it's a metaphor. I'm not saying I actually was a bachelor in Japan,
I don't know what he's talking about.
But it was like we'd work our 10-hour shift. We'd get off. We'd go do jiu-jitsu. Days that we didn't do jiu-jitsu, I would work out. John would eat. It's like,
Yep. That's all you do.
Pretty
All
much.
you do.
yeah.
And then we treat ourselves to McDonald's on Sunday.
Yes, we did. After we did our solo rounds between John and I, we would watch a video, and then we'd jump on the mat and practice on Sundays. And it would be we practice and move a little bit, but then it was like 45 minutes straight,
Pure rolling.
just pure rolling. We got it all on my GoPro.
And I'm not even, we're talking about like, how big was that room? We'd end up on the other end of the room.
Yeah, the one mat was probably as big as this section of the house right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like an Olympic-size wrestling mat.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why I'm kind of looking forward to going to San Diego. So we were in Japan, maybe 2.5, 3 months.
yeah. I was there 3.5 months.
Yeah, great shape when we came back,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, probably easily 160s, like really good shape.
Yeah, I was a solid 185, but I felt I was probably really my cardio was really good, my strength was really good. I worked out. I did a lot of like strongman stuff to really get strong and whatnot. But yeah, it was nice.
And now I'm about to spend 6.5 months doing that kind of stuff. So, it sucks being away from the family. So what happens when I do that is I literally just work out and go to work.
Yeah. What else can you dig into? I mean,
that's all I do.
He brought an Xbox and barely even used it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this time I actually signed up for boxing. So I'm going to mainly focus on boxing. I've never done it before.
Yep.
So I'm going to mainly do that the whole time I'm down there and see how I hope that increases like my cardio. And I have a lot of difficulties with anything that's like using the left side and, multiple steps to your left. So I'm hoping that'll kind of help that out. That's why I'm going to focus on that.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to most about jiu-jitsu, Spencer?
Oh, man. I don't
Or
know.
are you looking forward to anything at all?
Yeah. What are you most worried about, Spencer?
No, yeah.
What
that's
what
a-
hurts on you the most? Where's your weaknesses?
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. So I can target them. No, I am actually looking forward to stuff about jiu-jitsu. Like getting into CrossFit this last couple weeks, like enjoying it because there's a lot that's more technical than what I'm used to in there. And as much as I hate sucking at something, I also enjoy the process of like sucking and then not sucking at it. So similarly with like jiu-jitsu, something that I haven't, and I can't even say that I've done it back in 2009. It was like just you're putting part of your toe in the water kind of thing.
Yeah.
But starting something and then learning again. It's that process of learning. Like I have like this addictive personality. That's why like going into the military was probably one of the best things that I could have done for myself just in hindsight. Cause like, I'd never done drugs, never done any of that. And what I latch onto though is like the things that are hobbies. So whether it's like photography or fitness, or if it was like jiu-jitsu, getting into that, that's why I train so damn much. It's because it's just the personality thing. Like I've got to do it and you keep doing it and keep doing it. And I really just like being miserable. Like
then you're going to meet your goal.
Yeah. So like
point noted.
Yeah. So like, I mean, because like you see me in these workouts, like I'll be pushing it, man, like as hard as I can, and like I'm like watching the whiteboard all day long, seeing like how fast do I need to go, how heavy do I need to lift, and it's not for a sense of being competitive, but just that like whether it's jiu-jitsu or CrossFit, just being able to push yourself, and people are pushing themselves in the gym, which is pushing you. So it's yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, you'll definitely get both of those things. And the nice thing too is like John and I talk about it is the camaraderie. Like being in the military.
Yeah, that's what I missed, and I
Yeah.
feel like we get that in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and you get the camaraderie from the military from people that you go through things with. You know what I mean? Like you experience things with.
That suck together.
Yeah, and like you build that with people that from the same thing why people love CrossFit, because you build that camaraderie. You both are experiencing the same thing together.
Big time.
You're going through the difficulty of whatever it is together.
Your personal hell.
Yeah, right. Exactly, right. So jiu-jitsu is the same way. So it's like you thirst for that camaraderie, you thirst for that brotherhood, and then what better way to get it than to like choke your friends out? You know what I mean?
Honestly.
Or get your butt kicked by someone.
Yeah.
And then there's always the constantly learning. Like no one's perfect at jiu-jitsu. No one's the best ever at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you got great days, you'll leave there and you're like, I'm kind of the shit. Like, I got it. You'll go the next day and you're like, I suck. Why did he even give me this belt? This is ridiculous.
What's below a white belt?
Yeah.
I should probably just not
Can
even
I just
wear
start
gi.
over? Like,
Yeah, I love that though, because I mean, and like when we're doing partner workouts here, or even like I finally got to do my first partner workout this last Friday, and that was a blast, man. Because like I'm sure people think differently on the partner workouts, but like part of me is thinking like, how can I cut into your rest time as much as possible?
How can I make it suck for you?
Yeah,
more?
because I'm like, we got a time crunch to hit, like just that doesn't exist, but I've made it up in my head, and two, like you're gonna do the same to me, or I'm expecting you to.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I want you to make my world suck too. So it's kind of one of, like I miss that, man. In the military, just like you don't have that anywhere else. Like
Right.
I guess like I have that a little bit at work, but it's such a different exercise. It's a mental exercise, and it's not something that people are consciously doing. Whereas in jiu-jitsu or the gym, you're getting all that out there, like physically.
Yeah.
It's very different. So that's fun.
Yeah, you're challenging your brain, your heart, and your mind, or you're physically challenging yourself. You know what I mean?
I can't
Like,
wait to hear how he likes the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. Especially coming from. Well, I have to have you on again. Especially from you coming from someone with like no experience whatsoever. So we got you before, right? Spencer's just an interesting person, so we wanted to have him on. But he also, being in the Army, he has a little bit of experience, but we really wanted to get you before you started everything. So in 6 months is, they talk about it. Cody talked about it. He's like, in 6 months, you guys are going to look back at yourself and be like, I would kick the shit out of myself like that. You know what I mean? Like 6 months makes a huge difference of consistency in training or even in CrossFit. You know what I mean? Like it's just the consistency is what really makes the biggest difference. And once you start, man, you're gonna be addicted. It's so much fun.
Do you remember the craziest stuff when you start like tapping to pressure? That's that's not a submission.
Jordan almost got me the other day with that.
You just tap to pressure. Like I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. What is going on? Like you'll just quit just because of that.
Yeah, you don't know how to embrace it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like at some point, like you're not going to get someone off you, but you need to learn how to just deal with it.
Just be comfortable.
Yeah. Be comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's saying that's why there's like so much correlation between like my mindset for CrossFit, my mindset for jiu-jitsu, because it's honestly very similar.
Yeah,
it's very similar. It's just like. Obviously, one is grappling and one is exercising.
But
mentally, the mindset is very much the same. The aspects of training are very much the same. Some people when they are on the highest level of jiu-jitsu, they do basically the same exact thing that the people on the highest levels of CrossFit do. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much. Well, I guess you could say that about really any sport, right? Like, it's just crazy to think about, like coming from CrossFit and then going into jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, wow, this is honestly like so similar. It's fun, But
I like getting at the end of something like that. Like, I mean, I haven't even rolled yet, but with these workouts, like you get to the end of it. If you really put out, and like you're getting to the end of it and you just kind of roll over and die for a second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Like and you put out the whole time, and the whole time you're also thinking like, I don't know if I keep going, but then the next second you're like, shut up. Like, it's that process and getting to the other side. And then like, I'll get to the other side. I'm like, all right, time for another workout. Like, let's do this again.
Well, it was like when we were doing Murph in the garage, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do Murph, man. Like it's like kicking my butt. And then I was like, all right, well, I'll just do one more set. Okay, I'll just do one more set. Okay, I'll just do one more set. And then slowly, by the end of it, I was on my mile run and did the whole thing. But that was a big eye-opener. That was probably the biggest eye-opener. I was like, I can't believe how bad Murph is kicking my butt
Isn't it crazy how quick it goes away?
Yeah,
like you put all that effort into it. And
I've been working out, like sustaining like almost every day working out since 2013. And then
it only takes a couple months.
It takes, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, now I can understand, like, when people become sedentary and they start gaining weight and whatnot.
It's so hard to get back. You just got to take that step.
Yeah.
Like, even jiu-jitsu, they're like, we used to tell them, like, the hardest part about jiu-jitsu, the hardest part is just showing up. That's it. Just show up.
Yep. Because once you're there, you're going to be like, all right, well, I guess I'm here.
I mean, you just hit it on the nail when he's like, at the end of that CrossFit workout and you're destroyed and you're tired and you just lay there. Most people just lay on their back and they're trying to catch their breath. That's jiu-jitsu. So when you're at that point, just know that you're going to redo it in 30 seconds. And you're going to do that over and over again for about 30 minutes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When he said it like that, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the end of a round.
Yeah. So you'll
and then it's going to restart.
For I don't know if you heard our episode.
Great.
Our episode after we got our blue belts, but that's
I don't even want to. Nightmare.
I can't wait for people to. Well, after this stuff, man, I don't know who's coming back.
I'm sad. I'm not going to see them do this again.
Yeah.
I want to see some. I want to see it.
I know. I'm like. There's some people that came back and I'm like, man, how are we going to do the blue belt testing? Because there's going to be a lot of people that aren't coming back or aren't going to be back for a while. And it's like, there's some people that have been steady since day one that should be a blue belt with us, right? But what I was going to say is, besides that, I can't wait till the next people go through their rounds because it's an hour of hell. It's literally like there's no rest. It's they ask to see something, you do it. They ask to see something, you do it. They ask to see something, you do it. And then after you show all your techniques that he wants to see, then it goes into live sparring.
Nonstop. I'll never forget Derek's sister for as long as I live, even though I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
I know I couldn't move. I remember I couldn't move her.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. Like
people are like, because like we talked about the camaraderie. So the people will be like crushing you and they're like, it's okay. It's okay. You're doing so good.
Yeah, like whispering in your ear while you're dying.
You're like, they're like, take my hand, put it over here. And they're like, bridge. And then you bridge. They're like, good job, man. You did it all by yourself. Like, just get away from me.
You talked me through the whole thing, but
he's not joking.
It's
Horrible.
I don't doubt it.
I had cotton mouth. I'm so thirsty.
I felt bad for Lauderdale. I snapped on
Travis
Lauderdale.
snapped on Lauderdale. He did too.
I was like, baby, can I get some water? I'm obviously it's 45 minutes deep. I feel so bad, but let me explain myself. I'm 45 minutes deep. Lauderdale's staring at me this entire time, just getting my butt just hammered. Right? And I was like, baby, can I get some water? I'm like you could see just
our lips are white, you got that film, you're dying.
And Lauderdale comes over and hands me room temperature flavored water, and I was like, I don't want that.
I want water.
And she was like, she got so mad she ended up leaving in the middle of my test. But I was like, I felt so bad, but I was like, look, I'm obviously like dying over here. Just give me some.
No, tell him what Katie was doing. Katie had 4 plates of chicken teriyaki waiting on me.
Yeah. John's like, I don't want any of that.
I can't eat. You don't understand.
Yeah, I felt bad afterwards, but during it, I was like, I can't believe she's trying to give me room temperature freaking flavored water. I'm dying.
I need liquid crystal, delicious water right now.
Cold. I get a 2-minute break, and you're going to spend that time now going to get good water.
That was horrible. I don't even remember half of it, just dying.
Yeah. Yeah, and then our buddy Phil, Footlock Phil, he went knee on belly on me, and I was usually I could defend a knee on belly pretty easy. It's just when someone puts their knee on your abdomen and crushes you, and I can defend them pretty well now.
Yeah, you just push it, or you kind of keep your elbows tight.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. But and so he did it, and I was like, Phil, I'm not even gonna lie to you, that was probably the worst knee on belly I've ever experienced in my life. And he's a white belt, right? And he's like, I just wanted to do it just one last time. He's like, I knew this was gonna be the only time I could really get you with it. So I was like, well, you got me, bro.
Well,
I was like,
that wasn't as bad as my scream when I think Levi put me in that arm bar. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. In that class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
Yeah, you get to experience all this stuff though.
I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I mean, it definitely, man, I'm gonna be jacked up.
No, you'll do all right. Your size alone will help you tremendously.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying just physically in pain. I'm already right now in a good deal of just freaking pain.
What's on a 1 through 10?
That I don't know. I mean, if I really had to be hard on myself, like a 5, because
you're fine then.
Yeah, because you can. I mean, I'm still getting in the gym every day, so it's not worse than that.
Bad,
yeah. But don't get me wrong, I'm spending I'm on calls at work in my house stretching.
A single tear coming from your eye.
I mean, I'm physically forcing my body to keep loose throughout the day just to get to the gym so I can work out again and put myself through it.
Yeah.
And then getting back in the evening and keep on stretching because I know it's just going to tighten up through the night. So it's like that. So you add jiu-jitsu on top of it. And yeah, it's going to be but it's been night and day since the gym opened. It's been a conscious went from, I was doing workouts and stuff at home, but I was drinking ciders at night or wine at night or eating garbage, not eating garbage, but I wasn't eating a lot. And
a package of saltine crackers and some cookies and cream ice cream.
That's modest. 4 packs of saltine crackers, the whole sleeve. I'm not even kidding. I could eat. But we started the CrossFit workouts, and the first day I was like, all right, back to your stuff, lock it down, and you just start meal prepping again and start eating 8-10 meals a day. You stop drinking.
Yeah.
You're all right,
I can't do this tomorrow if I do this.
Absolutely. When you joked around earlier and you're like, we're going to lay off the beer. I was like, yeah, thank God.
Yeah. He brought ciders over too, and I'm definitely going to drink those ciders later, but.
Well, I was like, I can't. If you get to the point where, a beer, the beer we drink is 320 calories a can.
Yeah.
So think about drinking 7 or 8 of those, whereas this stuff's about 60 calories a glass.
Yep.
It's also, I get drunk way faster on so much less.
Well, but you're also just if you're drinking a lot, man, your body is just not processing and healing the way it would.
Right. It slows it down.
That's all I care about. If I'm gonna act if I want to kind of act like a machine and get through those workouts and actually blast through them. I got to back it up with actual diet and repetition.
Yep.
But it's and also not like burn out that addictive. Like that's the downside of having an addictive personality, is you get burnt out of stuff pretty quick, because like you get interested in it and you're like, all right, this is awesome, and you do it for like a year or 2 years, like whatever, you do it for a while, and then if you don't pace yourself, like it becomes uninteresting.
Yeah.
So you gotta enjoy it.
It becomes unenjoyable.
Yeah.
It's a chore at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, no one wants to do stuff just to do it. You know what I mean? Like they want to have the fulfillment, the enjoyment.
Well,
from
me
it,
and you
know?
used to go through that, right? With jiu-jitsu. Like
Yeah.
3-4 times a week. We were going to pretty solid about 4 times a week. And like at some points it becomes where it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's like, man, you got to find like that middle ground, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's
Because when
really-
we came back from Japan, after we got our blue belt, I was like, all right, well, I'm cutting back to 2 times a week, bro. Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, you'll see me there. Any other day, like.
we were suffering, right? Like we didn't want to miss class because that was like a big deal, you know. You didn't want to miss class, and it gets to like, you know, you just gotta like 2-3 times a week's probably the money spot right now.
Yeah.
Vice where we used to try to go to every class.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know, I've been working out since high school, you know, like since I was a kid. But these last couple weeks of getting back in and like trying CrossFit for the first time, I've never experienced this before, but I actually like am I wouldn't say nervous, but like excited, like with that like fluttery feeling before going to the gym.
Yeah, the stomach feeling.
Yeah.
You're like, all right,
Yeah, I'm actually feeling that, which is epic, because like that's so much to feed off of.
For sure.
Like I've never had that going to the gym. I've had that with a lot of other situations. I get nervous easy, but like you just fake it till you make it. But if you have that feeling going to the gym, and then the moment you see, like I walk into the gym and you see all those people suffering, I'm like, oh yeah, like because I love watching people just going through it, man. Like that amps me up immediately.
That always pisses me off when I feel like that. Like when we did jiu-jitsu competition, you know, I didn't like really want to do it, but I was like,
Right.
I'm gonna go do it.
Yep.
And I was a little uncomfortable, and that pissed me off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why shouldn't I go do this, right? Like, and then it's like, well, if you go and you lose, how do you feel, right?
Right.
And then I'm like, well, why can't I win? Like, why can't I?
Yep.
And then it just pisses me off. So like now I'm going in and I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, beep. I get mad when I get nervous like that because I'm like, why not? Like,
I usually do too.
yeah, it angers me.
Yeah, I usually do too, because this is why I get so excited about it. Like currently, right now, going to the gym while I still have it and trying to feed off it as much as I possibly can. Because when I go and do something and I feel that anxiety or nervousness or whatever, it does frustrate me because I see it as an insecurity and a fear and all this other stuff. But for some reason, going to the gym, like, and I think it's the team environment there, that like everybody's just pushing each other, and it's a really friendly environment, and it's not like this bro gym concept where everybody's mean mugging each other. That's stupid. I freaking hate that. You know, like, don't get me wrong, if I'm in that environment, I'm part of the problem. But like, you know, at the gym, it's the opposite. At this gym, it's the opposite. So I like that you can like shake it off when you walk in and it's gone, but you still kind of have it. Like when you need it, you turn it on.
Yep.
So that's kind of fun. But that's the first, that's what, 10, 15 years. Never felt that with fitness ever. And then started going to the gym because I suck at something again. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking dig yourself into the ground.
Yeah, but that's why people get so addicted to it, man, is because they enjoy like people that are not competitive become competitive because their friends are doing it.
Yes. I'm not a competitive person. Then I started this and I was like, shit, maybe I am. Bro. Like, oh my God.
When me and Katie started it, they did it a little different. You like came in with like this large group. So you know Rusty by now?
Yeah.
So when Rusty, we were all in the same group. We were all new beginners, and we went, and it was a 6-minute workout with no weights. It was like
It was
body
seven air squats, 7 burpees,
Yep.
and then
It was
something
It was
for 7
something
minutes.
really easy.
Just AMRAP.
AMRAP for 7 minutes.
And when it was over, I was destroyed. And I was like, oh, F this. There's no way on God's green earth 7 minutes is going to wear me out like this.
Yep.
And that was it for me.
Yeah. It's addicting.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, It's kind of like when you first started jiu-jitsu, right? Like you see like, oh, 3-minute rounds, that's not bad. But now that you know 3 minutes rounds, you're like, I got to move. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing for CrossFit. It's like,
fast.
Yeah, when you do a 10-minute workout, an 8-minute workout, at first you're like, thank God it's only 8 minutes. Then you get more experience. You're like, oh my God, it's 8 minutes. You know what I mean? Because you know what you got. You understand what the workout's supposed to be.
Sure.
You understand what you're supposed to be doing during the workout.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I know now when Cody goes 5-minute rounds, you got to do 2. I'm like, oh man, 5-minute rounds? That's a lot.
You're like, you want me to do this 3 times in a row?
I'm like, Jesus,
That's
5 minutes.
15 minutes.
If this was a competition, I only have to do 3.
You're like, Cody, you want me to roll for 15 minutes? That's a long time, man. That's a long time.
So what's funny is if you end up competing, they do it like by age. So the older you get, the less time you have to do.
How old are you? 29, 30?
Yeah, I'm turning 30 next month.
Yeah. So you'll be in the Masters.
Yeah, you'll be in the Masters. Yeah.
I feel like that's bad for me.
No, it's not.
No, that's the best spot to be.
Yeah, you're executive, right?
Yeah.
Same with Billy.
So I get a minute off. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So if you decide to start competing, I go back and forth about competing because CrossFit kind of not ruined competing for me, but I got burnt out on competing because of CrossFit. I was doing quite a bit of competitions with like friends and whatnot, and so now I'm like, I don't really want to roll more than once or twice a day against someone that's trying to take my head off. Like,
Do you think that that's because like CrossFit was kind of fulfilling the competitive need?
Yeah, exactly. I was never a competitive person, and then I started competing, and I was like, this is a whole lot of fun. But then once I stopped, I realized like, I'm still not a competitive person.
You still need to compete in the jiu-jitsu at least once.
I don't know about that.
You do because you've not experienced it. So he's been in jiu-jitsu now for 2 years, right? Yeah. But I can assure him he's not roll with anyone like he is when he goes and does his first competition.
I can guarantee that too. Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. It's going to be like the bear in Japan.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be like.
Manhandling.
That's what. Yeah, he was absolutely. That's what it's going to be like.
That's what I always tell people. I was like, I rarely have ever gone anywhere close to 90 to 100% on anyone ever. You know what I mean? But the bad thing about jiu-jitsu is it doesn't take 90 to 100% to hurt someone. You know what I mean? Like you can still hurt someone on a flow roll or like practicing something, right? So unfortunately, I haven't hurt people, but I guess you could say hurt, but I haven't like injured.
He says that. I was easily going 150% in the competition, and I'm pretty sure I'm still injured from that.
Yeah, that's what I
competition.
was to say. Like, yeah, that's why I was going to go with that.
My leg still hurt from that. When was that? Like November of some? Was that last
2018,
year?
2019.
Yeah, like I'm still feeling that roll.
Yeah,
that's what freaks me out the most, honestly. With whether it's workout or even like we were doing training exercises, and you'd be out in the field for. I don't know, you'd be doing live fires or even just like down in the range, like doing like frog leaps and stuff like that. And you'd be diving into ditches and that kind of thing. And you dive in a ditch wrong and like you slam on your shoulder and you hurt yourself. And you immediately just think like, oh, it's dummy. Like you just screwed up your shoulder and now you're going to drudge through this whole entire day just in the suck. Yeah. Same thing with like CrossFit or jiu-jitsu. That like getting injured freaks me out only because then you're like, how hard you want to push and you can't, and just pisses you off. Yeah. Like you can't, like even after that first workout in the gym, right?
Like you blew your back out?
Oh, dude, that was freaking so bad. All right. Well, so basically like this is literally my first workout in the gym. Right. And,
he just signed the waiver.
Yeah. I just signed the waiver and we start the workout. And I think it was like, I can't even remember the workout. It was like back squats and some other stuff. And so I load up the bar after warming up and I go down and like on the 4th squat, like I just feel my lumbar spine pop. And I've had this before because like don't get my skinny legs can deadlift 500 pounds, but I like my back squat. What I've had this before, like with my back going out, and I hurt myself, and I'm just like, oh,
The second it happened, I look at Spencer, I was like, you hurt? You all right? You hurt yourself?
Well, he asked me, and dude, I'm on the ground trying to loosen up my lower back by crossing over my
your leg,
and try like forcing it to pop, and realign. And I'm like, all right, that's not working. I'm just gonna get back up, and she'll fly, And so like I just get back up into the bar and like breathe, take super deep breaths, load up that diaphragm, and just like go and made it through the rest of the workout. And then after that, I was like, this is stupid. Like, you're going to stretch every morning, every night, every afternoon. You're going to train twice a day. You're going to make this work. Like,
well, the stupid part is pushing through the injury.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the dumb part. That was the
Yeah.
dumb part for sure on my part. But I was just like, man, you've been off weight. You've been away from weights for so long. Like, we weren't. None of us were going heavy. It was the first workout for a lot of us. But man, that was humbling.
I can relate. I understand.
Yeah. John almost literally died during the workout.
I'm pretty sure I had a heart aneurysm my first time back to CrossFit after 2 years.
Ugh.
It took me probably 45 minutes to get into my truck from the parking lot. And that flower bed they got out there in front. I laid in that flower bed because I could not get in my vehicle.
Jeez.
For easily 45, 50 minutes. And then driving home, I was kind of out of it.
Yep.
I ended up getting home, taking muscle relaxers and passing out for who knows how long.
We're going to get through this, guys.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
But I probably gained like 60 pounds while I was gone.
Yeah.
And I just came back and jumped into the workout.
John
like
was
I never
fat when he
left
first
a day.
came back. I
Yeah.
was like, Jesus,
That's
John.
the mistake that I think I made pretty much is like I didn't fully dive into it, but I thought it was going to be way better than it was. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is like same thing with the correlation between jiu-jitsu and CrossFit. Like you use things that you don't normally use, right? So you're like, oh man, I work out quite a bit, or man, I ain't worried about this. I wrestled, and then you do it, and you're like, holy crap, man, my inner thighs hurt. Like I don't even.
I didn't know I had Kegels.
It's like underneath my butt cheek is sore. I don't
When you sit down on the toilet, you have to grab something. That's when you know it's good.
Yeah.
I just know that my right hip moves just like slow.
Yeah, when you're like this, grabbing something, you try to sit down, then you know.
You're like, oh my god, what is that? Why does behind my ball sack hurt? I don't understand.
These are taints of muscle.
Am I finally squatting deep enough?
Yeah. Yeah, right. So Spencer over here, he's in the middle of class, and I'm like, man, Spencer's kicking butt, and I look over at him, like, no wonder he's kicking butt. This dude's bending his knees in his squat, and that's it. He ain't even going all the way down.
Mind you, this is the first day that I just blew out my back. Okay, so.
So I was like, good, just squats there, Spencer. Jesus.
Yeah. I would love to get back into CrossFit, but like I can't. Like I got too many shoulder injuries and stuff. Like it'd have to be like massively tailored.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way.
Yeah. John can barely do half the stuff in jiu-jitsu most of the time.
I feel bad. We do push-ups now, and I'm like doing them on my knees because my shoulders are so bad. And I'm like, that's just what I got to do. So
Yeah. Do you think having a training partner helps, like in jiu-jitsu and CrossFit, pushing you? I mean, I've, for example, like I had one back in California, a buddy of mine, and I like having a partner that's better than you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You always kind of have to think of it from their perspective too, because they don't want to be, rolling with the sandbagger or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
it's definitely having somebody that's challenging you and pushing you and basically dragging you through something.
Yeah, I feel like John and I are that to each other. Like,
absolutely.
We whenever we roll, it's pretty much a stalemate the entire time. Maybe one or two submissions from either one of us. It's,
Well, when me and you roll, it's rough.
yeah, and also John and I go a lot harder on each other.
Yeah,
than
we don't do that
anyone
with anyone else.
But because we've rolled with each other literally 2 years, and there was 3.5 months almost solely us two, so we understand each other.
Wait, it took me a year to get to submit Travis.
And it was funny when it happened.
And when
too.
I did it, I didn't know it, and he's like, "You got it." I was like, "What?"
I was tapping him, and he stopped, and he's like looking at me. I was like, "That's a tap." I was like, "You can stop now." He's like,
Stop, please.
and he's like, "Yes." But it was legit, right? I wasn't expecting it, and that's all it takes, right? Is you get like Cody. The first time Cody got caught by someone was a white belt, and he's like, it happens, man. You get complacent, and you get caught, And John got me in a wrist lock. He grabbed my arm, and I was like, "What is this guy's doing? Is he gonna do what? What? Yo, that hurts."
Stop it, please.
Then I was tapping, yeah. But like, so with John and I, like we talk about all the time, we go way harder on each other than anyone else. And unless someone specifies, go a little bit harder, I want a little bit more intensity. I usually don't go as hard as I do with John on anyone else.
Yeah.
But John and I, like you're saying, like we know each other. We the intensity's there. Like we've always been pretty much the same level the entire time we rolled. Even though he's 15 years older than I am, it's like 20 years
it
old.
makes a difference.
Yeah.
Well, no shit. Yeah.
I don't
Obviously.
care what people say.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
shit.
But it's John is easily my training partner that's like pushes me the hardest out of anyone. Him or Cody, but Cody, it's
We're
hard.
children to Cody.
Yeah, it's hard with Cody because you want Cody to not sandbag on you, but then when Cody turns it on, you're like, why are you beating my ass so bad? Like we're friends. Like I don't understand. And then it's hard to find that happy medium because Cody won't let you catch him. He's not going to let you get something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you have to work your butt off or surprise.
Almost got him a couple times.
Surprise the crap out of him. You know what I mean? And so when we first started, that was probably my biggest like agitator, I guess you could say, is like when I would roll with Cody. Cody's so good and he's so competitive, he wouldn't let you really do much, right? And you would just get tapped and tapped and tapped. And I'm like, and it was never discouraging, but it was like, crap, man, like let me do something, dude. Like let me practice this stuff. But really, you just get your butt whooped for. But now, I remember the first time I survived.
I prefer
5 minutes.
getting my butt whooped.
Yeah.
If they actually lay there and they take it easy on me, it throws me off.
Exactly.
I don't know how to deal with that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say it right now. If anyone ever asks me to flow roll, I'll pass. Pick someone else, please.
I'm trying to roll
They'll do it at the gym. Like, hey, let's flow roll. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, I'm sorry.
We start flow rolling. 2 minutes later, we're full blown 150%.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I feel bad. I know you want to do it. I can't do it. Like,
Yeah.
pick someone else.
yeah.
At least you're honest.
But it's true. Like sometimes and that's the thing, right? Is you start flow rolling and then it's like, well, I'm trying to do something and they're trying to do something. So really, I'm going to give a little bit more effort to try to do what I want to do. So they're going to stop me from trying to do what I want to do so they can do what they want to do. And then all of a sudden you're rolling. Like then you're full blown rolling,
It's like anything else. Get in there and start moving.
Yeah.
And then it's easy from there.
Yeah.
It's showing up. Like you said. I mean, that's life. That's the army. That's jiu-jitsu. It sounds like is like half the battle showing up.
Yeah.
Hell, probably more than half.
Yeah, I would say 90% of it's showing up.
Just
right?
showing up. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what else do you do in your spare time since you don't do jiu-jitsu yet, but you just did pick up CrossFit like we said earlier? What else do you do?
Oh man. I mean, before all this started going around with COVID and the lockdowns and stuff, I was doing commercial photography. Ooh, almost lost some bourbon here. Yeah, that was pretty quick.
Bro, you're not even drinking. Your ice is gone.
I know. I had to let it water down.
Half water.
Is there ice in here? Let me get some more.
There is. Yeah, I mean, back in 2019, 18, 17, picked up photography actually. Like, so I was asking about the training partner, and actually that same training partner I was thinking about back home, he had picked up a camera like back in 2017, and he's probably the one person that can pull a natural competitive side out of me.
Really?
And so he got a camera, and I was like, I'm getting a camera. Like, it's that bad, with this guy and I. And so I picked up a camera, and we just started going around and hiking and that kind of stuff. And about John's, and then about a year later, it went from just like, I think by a year into it, he had kind of stopped doing it for the most part. And about a year and a half into it, I had kind of discovered this group of friends that were doing a bunch of travel and commercial photography with like brands and, companies and things like that. And so I got into that a little bit and started doing commercial shoots and directing some like just small, kind of like social media, like either product launches, promotions, that kind of stuff. And, worked with Subaru and a couple other big companies.
Dang, just name dropping.
Well, it was a big accomplishment for me because I had only been doing it for a couple of years.
It might be under there, or it might be Tequila.
Tequila's
I got to work tomorrow. I can't be doing that.
No, you'll be all right, bro.
Who's coming in here? Ed. Sorry, guys. We're having some
chair issues.
Some chairs. Our buddy Ed's coming in here, joining us. I got a fourth microphone, Ed. You want to join in?
I'm good, just listening,
What's going on, Ed? Spencer. Nice to meet you, man.
What's up, buddy?
And so, yeah, I mean, that filled up a lot of spare time. Like, just kind of, it came back to the learning thing. Like, I love learning a new hobby, getting into it. Dang, John.
Sorry, guys, it's loud. It's nice.
But that process of learning, like going from absolutely sucking at something, right? And it's even better when you can look back on it and you're like laughing at yourself. Right. And so that took up a lot of time doing the photography thing. But like we were talking about, that addictive personality, something gets boring eventually. I definitely burnt myself out, and frankly, like it just, there's going to come a point where I think you might get to a hobby where it doesn't give back to you anymore.
Yeah.
So this year really haven't been spending it really any time with photography at all. And then, man, I work for Tesla, so like that's like friends and family always ask, like, I mean, and we're 5 years in, mind you, right? Like they still act confused when they're like, wow, you always seem really busy and stressed with work. And it's like, yeah, it's a freight train that moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like it's not like a small company that does something really small, really well. We do a lot of stuff. We do it really well. We do it really fast. Like it's just a demanding company to work for, especially in the capacity that a lot of us work in that are, spread across a lot of projects and working kind of on these things that are really like the world. There's not a lot of people in the world that are doing it. So it's just really hard to figure out. So that honestly eats up most of my, I mean, that it's really during the week, it's Tesla and CrossFit right now. That's what my week looks like, and coming over here for barbecues. That's
At least you're eating good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I am eating a lot.
Yeah. Whenever
a lot of saltines.
We'll like text each other like, hey, I'm going to go to this place. You want anything? You're like, yeah, dude.
Hey, hold on, bro. You don't ever text me like, do I want some food?
Do you live across the street from
That's
me?
messed up, Spence. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I
Not
am
messed up. Bro, first of
So
all,
Spencer, on a side note, for the listeners, my buddy Ed just joined us. He doesn't have a microphone or a headset, but we both met in the Navy in 1997. But anyway, he's also going to start jiu-jitsu and has never done it before.
Oh, yeah.
So neither has Spence, Ed. If you guys work it
suck
out
together.
He lives one street up, Spence.
Oh, no way.
If you guys work it out together, you could show up to your first class together, be partners together, and it would probably help you both out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that
That's solid
out there.
advice, actually.
Yeah, Ed's legit too. And what's even better about Ed is he's a cop, so you can feel better about beating up a cop.
Yeah.
You're also really tall, man. You're like, what, 6'2", 6'4"? You?
5 feet.
What? You walked in, you were tall as hell, man.
So you're sitting
How
down.
much should I drink again?
And you're like, what, 7 feet? Maybe on Tinder. Like,
You want to try it out?
But you guys time it to show up together, man. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
it's a whole lot of fun. It's especially when you start it with other people. I think that's why
That's the
like
best.
all of us have such a like we started all together at the same exact time when the gym first opened, and then we all just grew so quickly together. You know what I mean? So it's good to find those people that you start with and then stick in with them the whole time, because you'll be able to really gauge off each other about like, well, did you roll with so-and-so, mate? Yeah, I did.
No,
Kicked my
but
butt.
think
Like,
how much we talked about like our problems
Yeah,
and where we're at. Like no one else is
It
going to
takes
have
over
that
your
with
life.
you unless they start with you.
yeah, exactly.
That's a fair point.
Because it takes over your life. You know what I mean? Like, just like CrossFit, like you'll find yourself like always wanting to talk about it to people that go through the same thing as you. You know, it's like no matter what, if you
Spence gonna be like, that guy's counting reps, man. You seen that?
it's like no matter what your new hobby is, right? If whether it's photography or audio or podcast or reading, like you want to find people that you can confide in that goes through the similar things. You know what I mean? You're like,
absolutely.
like man, I just started reading a whole bunch of books, so now I'm gonna start talking to John more about books.
That's what I was gonna ask Spencer. What's your favorite book, bro?
Honestly, well, so probably The Sun Also Rises, Ernest Hemingway. That's by far.
I haven't read that.
That's I mean, so are you calling? Oh, you're just gonna
I was gonna sneeze, but I stopped.
Yeah.
Good. We don't want COVID here.
Yeah. Anti-COVID.
If that's still going on, I don't know.
So like I wasn't reading much at all. Like I just didn't have the time before a year ago. And then I moved up here and I just started making the time for it. And then I bought a ton of Hemingway, man. And after reading reading him. It was hard to move on from anything other than Hemingway.
Any sci-fi or anything like that?
No, it's all been like Fitzgerald and Hemingway and just like old classic stuff.
We'll work on you, bro.
Yeah,
we'll work
I know.
on
I
you.
just started reading nonfiction stuff,
Yeah.
or fiction stuff, sci-fi. I just read my first sci-fi book.
You like it?
It was good. It wasn't bad. It was the one I was telling you about, The
Bro.
Girl from Nowhere.
I probably read about 5,000-6,000 pages a week.
Yeah, we were saying that like you were reading.
I can give you guys some like good books. Like
Yeah.
I like highly
So
recommend.
I was looking at like Stephen King books to start this week, but I don't know which Stephen King book.
The Stand. That's the first one you read. Yeah.
But how many pages is it?
1,156.
See, that's going to take me like
uncut
7 months to
edition.
read.
It's a lot.
It's
a lot of commitment.
fantastic. I've probably read that book 4 or 5 times.
I just read, like I said, The Girl from Nowhere. It's the first one of James Maxwell's new series, The Firewall. It's a trilogy. The next one doesn't come out until next month. And it was good. It was like my first sci-fi book. The problem I have with sci-fi is I feel like it's all been done before and it's all reiterated and it's kind of it seems
Oh,
very
bro, I got
predictable.
you, man. I can give you books that you can read that have not been done before.
Really?
So just to give you a little, I will not buy a book that's under 500 pages because it's not worth my time.
God, man.
Yeah, all my
So-
books, if they're over 500 pages, it's not worth my time.
So if it's around 500 pages, that's about a day read for me. If I got a couple hours, if I got 3 or 4, I'll read it.
What the? That's
So-
a different level.
So when
Yeah,
I say
different
that,
level.
I'm going to tell you one of my favorite books of all time is only 300 pages long, and it's The Forever War.
Okay.
So if you ever want to read that one, that is a sci-fi novel that's written from a Vietnam veteran, and he wrote this sci-fi novel to basically say how he felt in Vietnam. So it's his experiences in Vietnam into a sci-fi novel.
That's pretty interesting. That even that translation. I mean, into
Yeah.
that book. So that's 300 pages.
Yeah,
That's your
about
favorite book.
300.
What's that called?
Joe Haldeman, and it's The Forever War.
I just got Kindle Unlimited. I'll have to check it out. Though, actually, I take that back. The first sci-fi book I read was The Alchemist at the top over there. If you guys haven't read it, fantastic book. It's like 200 pages. Then I read Born to Run. That was another good book. It's about the Tatamahara tribe down in Mexico that do.
They just run, right?
They just run.
Yeah.
They run like 50 to 100 miles.
Do you like
for
reading
fun.
on the Kindle?
I like real books.
Yeah.
I like seeing. I wrote in.
You can't. If you read enough, you can't do real books.
It's just too expensive.
Where are you going to put them?
Oh, that's true. That's true. But the nice thing is, I'm such a newbie when it comes to reading. I'm saying that as a 30-year-old man.
it. Like you're, yeah.
John's like, yeah, I know you suck. Yeah.
Look at John. I'm good at everything except for life.
Except jiu-jitsu.
But I like the physical aspect of like turning the page and then seeing the progress that I've made and how much further I have to go on a page. I mean, you can see that percentage wise in like the Kindle, but it's just not the same. It's not the same, man. I like the whole aspect of it.
Flipping through it, reading it,
Yeah,
looking
but
at it.
all my books I've been reading lately are all Kindle. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, when I was a big reader in the Navy, I couldn't store those books. So it had to be something like a Kindle.
That was it wasn't like I was able to. It would have been nice to like throw a book in the ruck and then like if you were out in the field, but like I'm not gonna lie, when we were out,
Carry the weight? Like, no.
well, that and like we weren't chilling at night, like we were doing night, like basically training for night operations at night. So like you would be either on days or nights, and so you just didn't have time to do it. Would have been nice though. I mean, you saw guys. There were guys doing that, like with a small little book, like out in the field reading, but they were reading with like night vision goggles or like taking naps during the day out in the field. Like it just didn't seem practical.
I like it, man. Those are real readers.
I mean, they were
had the passion.
They were, but as an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, something, in the field, you're just like, oh, what the? No, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna fuel my body. That's all you care about.
I've come to realize though, like I feel like before I would read and fall asleep, but the more I'm reading now, the more I can stay awake and read. You know what I mean?
And
Like
you read totally different books than me. You read a lot of like that like books that help you out, right?
yeah. So if you look at like my book collection, like Driven by Distraction is a ADHD book. The Originals
Yeah.
is a social psychology book.
I totally get that. I'm more of like a
yeah.
book whore where I just read for satisfaction. So it's like sci-fi, fiction, fantasy, Dean Koontz, Stephen King.
Well, that's
John
the thing is
Saul,
like
Clive
that.
Barker.
Those like to me, those were like Malcolm Gladwell. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. His podcast was actually really good with JRE. But I have a bunch of his books, and that's what was entertaining to me, was like, because a lot of it kind of goes into business aspects too. So entrepreneurship and how like Bill Gates and all these guys started their businesses, but then it also goes into the psychology side of it. So it was like real intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't that the stories weren't good, the books weren't good. It's just I hadn't trained my mind to not be complacent when reading. You know what I mean? Like when I read the sci-fi books now, I'm like playing the movie in my head.
Yeah.
That way I pay more attention
Those
to
are
it.
escapes for me.
Yeah.
So I don't really. I've read a few books that are kind of like some Jocko books. You know, like I've read a couple books that are like more like I guess what I'm leaning towards. Like if I feel like I need some discipline, I'll read some Jocko books. If I feel like I'm trying to learn jiu-jitsu, then I'll read some jiu-jitsu books. But normally, it's always been more of an escape, entertainment, and those kind of books. But
You can actually like, so usually when I read, it's at the end of the day. Like literally, I have like a ridiculously strict routine during the week at least, like how I run my day. And so the last hour of my day is like committed to reading. Right? It's no screens, no distractions, just reading, relaxing, like drinking tea before bed, so I can actually sleep. But I like on the weekends, on the rare time that I am not in the yard or like working out or whatever, I like even before this, when you came home, my ass fell asleep on that swing on my porch reading, because it's just like, yes, it's an escape, but it's like I use that to relax.
Yeah.
I can't stay awake usually. I'll get through like 50, 60 pages and like, nope.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
I'm not perfect right now. I would probably say the same. Like I could read probably 4 or 5 chapters, or might do a touch and go here and there. But I'm reading some short stories right now called The Nameless, and they're like, how many pages are? I think it's like 150 pages, 200 pages per book. It's a real short story, but like I've read 6 chapters, 7 chapters in like a 30-minute period because it was so good. It was just like I was just like flying through it. I was like, holy crap, like this is good.
that's
I didn't
what
think
I
I
told
was
you
gonna.
when me and you talked about it. I was
Yeah.
like, if you haven't finished it, it's because it's not a good book.
Yeah, yeah, and that was like
That's true.
The one that I was reading, I would read. It was a longer book, but I would read it. But I don't know. It just wasn't as illustrated as I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? Like once you can start getting it going in your brain and you start imagining it and you're like playing along with it as you're acting it out in your brain, then you're just flying through the book.
I've stayed up all night to
But-
finish books and go to work. Like
Man,
That's
when
crazy.
You know
I
it's
don't-
good.
yeah.
Like, it'll be like 4 a.m, and I'm like, Jesus, I should have went to
time.
sleep.
Yeah.
Movies.
Oh, Atlas Shrugged. That's the one I wanted to give you. I think it's a 1,200-page book. Right there, next to Driven to Distraction, the one I was telling you about. I'll give it to you so you can borrow it and read it in like a day.
Well, that'd take a couple days.
Yeah, that's I started that one, but then I also have the original Game of Thrones, the first one. But some of those are Lordell's books. The ones with all the hot dudes on the front, those are mine. Don't look at those.
We figured they were yours.
She got 50 Shades of Grey. I can't read that in public.
Nobody had
I
to
feel.
ask.
It's totally different.
It's different. It's like yeah. But yeah, so I just picked up reading, and it's been a whole lot of fun. Yeah, it's cool, right? You actually it is.
I just wanted him to try. Go ahead, you can listen to it for a while. I was like, I just wanted him to try it so he could like
Yeah.
see how different it is.
But it's like it's nice reading because I feel like it's automatically transferring over into my schoolwork because I have to read a lot of qualitative, quantitative reports, like just numbers.
That's big words, bro.
Yeah, just numbers.
Was
You
that
know what I
hard?
mean? In reports and essays and stuff like that. So I'm like, the more I'm reading that stuff, I'm like, man, I'm tired of reading all this boring stuff. So then I started like drifting out and like, well, let me read something that's more entertaining. And I was like, well, let me try some sci-fi fantasies. And
So should we start a book club?
I'm down.
Podcast book club.
Let's
book
do
club
it.
with that.
Let's do
See,
it,
we're
man.
just- We're just
But
starting
I'm
lighthearted.
telling you, I read slow, so
That's
you,
all right.
You can't be coming here like, all right, I read the whole book. I'm like,
We can do it as and we'll nominate a book and
Uh-huh.
we won't talk about it till everyone's read it.
yeah. We'll give everyone like 2 weeks to read it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be done with it 14 times by then.
It's true. It's very true.
So it's funny you talk about that. I remember the first sci-fi book I ever read, and we were in the Gulf. It was like '98, and it was Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. If anyone's ever heard of that, it's a fantasy novel. I'd never read fantasy before. I was always Stephen King. It was always
Like
like
those fantasy?
No, he's fiction. Fantasy's totally different.
Oh, okay.
Fantasy's like dragons and shit. Fiction's
okay.
more just make-believe story. But I read the book, and it was around 2,000 pages. And I was like, this is fantastic. It took me 3 days. So I read his whole series. There's like 12 of those that are easily 2,000 pages apiece. And I was like, this is amazing. Finally, I found something I can read.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm same here. Same.
So, John, yeah, let's start the book club. We'll start the book club, and then you pick the first book, and then if
Oh, that's easy. Forever War. That's simple.
you pick the second book, and then
Yeah. No, Forever War is 300 pages.
And
Favorite
it's
book.
free on Kindle Unlimited or $1.99 on Amazon if you don't have Kindle Unlimited.
That was a smooth ad right there.
Well, Kindle Unlimited is $10 a month and it's unlimited reading, so I use that because I read a lot.
Yeah.
I'm about to look it up right now.
It's Joe Haldeman.
Is that Blaze crying back there?
It is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the books I'm reading, like, they are fiction and like they aren't actual, they aren't nonfiction. A lot of Hemingway's, like, they're based around reality, but they're roughly made up. It's almost like a combination of stories.
Yeah, it's funny you like those books. I have a couple books at the house that are probably about 150 years old, and if you want to read those, they have a lot of that kind of old stuff in them, and they're like on rice paper. But you can borrow them. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean you definitely you see the style of writing change, a lot, like in just the English language, even like, and that's a little bit difficult.
That book is $14.
There you go.
Man, here I got you.
$14? Are you kidding? That's on Kindle.
That's Dexter Filkins, not Joe Haldeman. You didn't listen.
Look, it's
got
right
you,
there
bro.
at the top. It's right there at the top. You still got to buy it.
Let me get you.
That's not about, these better be some free books or free 99. Shoot. about to get a 5-finger discount on something. I mean, I'm not going to steal anything yet. Don't arrest me when I come.
You technically acquire.
But what were you saying, Spencer, before I rudely interrupted you?
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
gosh. No, we were talking about spare time, man. I mean, reading, photography, work, that's really it. Like, I mean, I don't, I mean, what else can you fill up your time with? There's the whole, I try to get actually good at something before I move on to the next thing, the whole 10,000 hours rule. Like, I want to see myself excel at something before I move on to the next little charade or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I feel you on that because I'm kind of the same way. When I pick something up, I like completely dive into it. You know what I mean? Like, I bought that camera and now I'm like watching videos on how to take better pictures, be a better videographer, how to edit photos and whatnot. Like, I'm like diving into it,
yeah, I mean, I don't think that's, go ahead.
Are you out of here?
I don't want to cut in on you, but I found it on yours. For some reason, it's $10 on yours. I don't need it right now. I can just talk into that. But just to give you like the little bit of it, it says, based on the author's experiences in Vietnam, The Forever War is regarded as one of the greatest military science fiction novels ever written.
Wow. Good taste.
Wow.
Wow. I think I've said wow a lot on this podcast.
That's okay.
I'll count them.
I mean, I'll buy it for $10. I'll buy it for $10, $11.
I don't know why they're charging that much for you. My Kindle Unlimited, that's free.
Huh, that's weird.
They just recognize you as a different tier.
Well, I've had it for 20 years, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, the book I'm reading right now is also The Killing Fog by Jeff Wheeler. Not bad. It's a
By Jeff Wheeler?
yeah. It's about these people in, I think it's like ancient China, but it's a sci-fi fantasy, right? So they got like powers, and the main character chick, her name is Bing Mei, and she has her power is she can smell intent, right? So if you are being dishonest,
That would be dope.
she could smell you, right? So you can't tell if she can tell or not, right? But you could like tell a lie, and she's like, "You blowing ass right now."
Hey, you want to know how it's a good fantasy novel?
Huh.
You won't tell nobody because you're embarrassed. You're like, I ain't gonna tell you I read that shit, but it's good.
I don't really care, man. I play World of Warcraft. I play lots of video games and stream on the internet. I don't really care, man.
Well, you'd probably love Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. So it's kind
I
of like
just feel
Harry
like it would
Potter.
take
with-
me so long.
They start young. What's rushing you?
Life. I want to finish it
Nah,
before
bro.
I die.
Just read a little bit. Read a little bit here. Read a little bit there. You'll be all right.
5 or 6 pages at a time. You free?
But I will tell you, if you read that Forever War, that was impactful to me because I read it and then I was trying to think about that guy in Vietnam. And it was really interesting because in the Forever War, like the way they have it set up, these guys go out on a tour, and when they come back, Earth has progressed like 20 years. You're only gone 2 months. So in the book, they're gone for 2 months. They come back. Earth has moved 20 years.
Yep.
And that's how kind of like the book progresses. And I'm thinking, damn. So they're in Vietnam, right? And he's in war. He's fighting, and then he comes back to the U.S. And that's how much it changed while he was gone.
Right.
And then he goes on his second tour in Vietnam, and he comes back to the U.S. And holy shit, they're protesting, they're rioting him like he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes back to Vietnam, and then he comes back to the U.S. and it changes again. I was like, man, that really hit home for me. Like just seeing what those people actually
it was a
went
crazy
through.
war, man.
And I was like, wow, I'd never thought about it like that until I read his science fiction book.
It's actually so. I mean, people, even veterans today, talk about that quite a bit. Like in a kind of micro context, like they go on a deployment and you're gone for it could be 6 months, 12 months, 15 months, whatever, right? But life doesn't stop here. Like you go away and your family and your friends, they're out doing stuff. Holidays come and go, like all that stuff, and you get back and you're like, it's kind of an aha moment because like life didn't stop without you. And then you get back and you're like, and it's uncomfortable, right? Like people talk about that stuff. Vietnam had it different.
Yeah.
Like it was very condensed. Like there was a lot going on in a very condensed way. Like, but
The only war we lost.
Yeah, and I was about to say, and like probably the only time a majority of America did not agree with it. Also,
So
you know what I mean?
You just said that, and I just experienced it at work. I won't name which place I was working, but we had a submarine that was gone during COVID. So when they actually pulled into port, they never heard of it. So they were gone the whole time since COVID started.
wow,
They did not know about it.
that's wild.
Months later, they just pulled it. They pulled into port, and they did not know that existed.
Right.
So that was like a huge curveball for them.
Yeah,
Like, what do you mean we're in a pandemic? No one
Yeah,
ever
they
heard
were
about
like,
that.
"What are you talking about?"
that's wild though. Like that's a totally different. Like 'cause
They're cut off that bad.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
no communication. They've been gone for like probably 3-4 months.
Yeah.
So they left right before it happened.
Yep.
And when they came back, they did not know anything about it. And we're all wearing masks, and you need social distancing, and they didn't. They were like, whatever.
That must be wildly surreal. I can't like that. That's hard to put myself in those shoes and just walk into a totally different world, man.
Yep.
I mean, in a lot of just
Yeah, which I talk about this quite a bit with like World War II vets. Like, imagine being born in the early 1900s, and then now we have fully electric vehicles. We have state-of-the-art spacecraft going to a satellite astronaut. Like,
And skinny jeans.
yeah. All right, I'm done. But you know what I mean? Like they in the early 1900s compared to now.
Bro, if
like,
they see the shit you're wearing right now, they'd have been like, why did we fight this war?
all right, guys, it was a great podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and say thanks to Spencer for coming on.
I'm just playing. Come on.
No, but further, it's an hour and a half already. We should
It's
probably
been
wrap
good,
this
though.
up, son.
Spencer's like look, he's a star now.
Yeah.
sip my bourbon. Sip my bourbon. That's what I've been doing this whole time.
So, hey everyone. So, just so you know, read the Forever War, and we're gonna talk about it.
All right, so that's the book then. That's the one we're gonna
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll
we
buy it
just started a
tonight.
book club in this podcast.
Yeah, for
I'll
sure.
read it at work
Got it.
when I'm supposed to
Hey,
be doing stuff for the government.
If anybody else is listening, I'm gonna be in San Diego in like by July 2nd.
Yep.
So if
Oh,
anybody
and-
wants to go on our Facebook page or Instagram and like hit me up with some places that would be good to drop into, feel free.
Taco
Yeah.
joints.
Yeah, I am no longer going to San Diego, so John's gonna be going by himself. Well, he's gonna be going with other people, but I won't be joining him. And we found out we're having a boy, so Laura Dell's pregnant with my heir to the throne. So
Congratulations, man.
Yep. Congrats.
so I'm excited, so I'm gonna be staying home, and John goes down
That's
there.
a good excuse.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll buy it for sure.
I mean, thank God.
Let's not even talk about the maternity leave you're gonna take.
I know, it's so
we gotta love today's
And was there
day and
ribs
age.
left? Okay.
That's all he's
what
worried about.
I'm like, John's talking. I want food.
I can smell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you guys good with ending it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Read the Forever War.